Accept all cookies, don't clear your cache. It's time for data mining.
So you guys all finally come back. I suppose you're actually wondering what this next video actually is. Well, during the summertime, there was a road trip story arc of the Loud House characters, and much likely I didn't appear in mostly any of them except in the first one. So everybody wanted to know what my real opinion were on those episodes, and this is the video that's actually going to tell you guys of what I felt about each and every one of those episodes, from bringing down the house to hide and sneak. Bringing down the house. I know I already spoke about this one before, and I despise this one episode, because it's about the Loud family that goes to the White House, and then there's this guy named the Bulldog, who I think is possibly my favorite character throughout this episode. And it wouldn't be a Loud House episode without the Loud family doing something stupid, hypocritical, and idiotic around wherever they go. So a few characters like Lincoln, Luna, Lana, Lola, Boneheaded Lynn Jr., Chicken Shiznit Lynn Sr., all going to places where they're freaking prohibited from being in, with freaking no security guard or actually someone actually on duty to actually stop them from going to places that they shouldn't go. Because I know the White House has a lot better security than a freaking prison house does. Even what they did in the very end, when they actually make up for it, when they fix everything, they make it so look good, it didn't stop them from actually being recorded on camera, and the Bulldog actually catch them in the act. And it gets even worse fuck shit in the very end, where the actual president actually invites them in because of what they did to the place and what they fixed up. I mean, come the fuck on. They don't deserve to be rewarded so much. They have to be kicked out of the White House. Because in short terms, in reality, if you go to any of these places, you get kicked out immediately and you are considered a trespass warning. If you think Not Allowed actually fucked you in the ass, well, this episode actually went ball deep on you. And it will if you intend to break the White House rules. Mountain Hard Pass. I would consider this one of the most laziest episodes I have seen. And I do mean lazy. Because when the Loud family actually comes to Colorado in the Rocky Mountains, the Loud parents are actually willing to go on a hiking camp trip, while the kids are trying to find a reason to actually not go hiking at all and rather stay in the campers so much. I found the episode pretty much decent, especially when I did not like how the Loud kids' behavior was, how they kept trying to call off of not going hiking and being outdoors and rather be in their campers, be on their damn phone so much. And they tried to sabotage so much the entire trip. Does this sound familiar? Fed up? Health kicked? Ring any bells? But with the latter and the irony about it, about the Loud kids actually staging a mountain ghost sighting, causing the parents to conclude that they should return to Camp Zilla, and then they actually came across real mountain goats on their way back. And the chase had also caused the entire family to go into more serious dangers than what the kids had tried to stage earlier. And when they came back to Camp Zilla, they actually managed that they wanted to sleep outside for the night. I mean, I really enjoy so much camping outdoors, especially with my own kind of tent, and I love to enjoy so much the grass between my feet, just try to dip my feet so much into the lake to let them get washed up. Breathe in some good fresh air, see some of the good sightings, and the best of all, just sitting at the campfire at night roasting s'mores and just listening to the crickets chirp at night as you fall asleep. And when first time watching this episode, I couldn't help but notice that there was something about Rita's cure for poison oak that I didn't even understand so much at first. When she was covering Lola in whatever that stuff that she was covering her in with to cure her little poison oak, when Lola panics and actually screams, I was like, what was that about? And I went to look up the exact word of it, and I was like, holy shit. Quite literally, of course. So this road trip episode made me roll my eyes so many times over and over with the kids just trying to sabotage the hiking trip. And I'll tell you, being outdoors is really not that bad. From Brad to worse. I'm just gonna be honest with this one. Rita should have earned Brad, because Brad Platt is like Rita's old camp crush who turned himself into a celebrity country singer at Bear State. And Lynn Sr. becomes stupidly jealous of this guy, thinking that Rita's actually fallen for him. And yet he tries a way to actually give him a taste of his own medicine, when it really, Lynn Sr. is the one who should take his own medicine. But like with most Loud House families, they pretty much over-exaggerate too much without even stopping and thinking about it. And if that hadn't gone so much bad, Lincoln actually joins Lynn Sr. in the scheming, which somehow I didn't think Lincoln was actually needed to actually do that, because This felt like it was just shoehorning to see so much bond with Lincoln and his dad more often because, we basically don't get to see them bond as much as he bonds with his mother. And the cruel irony, it really caught me off guard so much. When Lindsay was assuming that Brad's songs were about Rita, which is his wife, or at least should have been his ex-wife, especially when he used to be her camp crush, but he soon had learned that the actual horse's name is Rita, which is kind of a nickname for Margarita. That threw me off guard, and I had a good laugh with that one too. I don't have too much to say about it. It's pretty decently good, especially when I actually enjoyed Brad mostly throughout this episode, especially with the connection between him and Rita, how they used to go way back then before she married Lynn Sr. Doll Day afternoon. Do I even need to explain this episode about why I should actually dump it in the garbage? Especially when that girl Shay actually brought a lot of pointers in this episode review.
This was a complete waste of an episode. Either the writers couldn't think of any good ideas, or they were just lazy. Probably a little bit of both. But this was a complete waste of a plot. A whole episode based on a family trying to get Mr. Coconuts back. And a disappointing ending where Mr. Coconut stays. Luann is 15 now. It's about time for her to let this Mr. Coconuts thing go. And I love Luann. She's my fave. But I just find her attachment to Mr. Coconuts weird. As it was proven in An Inspector Falls, Luann can thrive on her own without Mr. Coconuts. She's actually better without him. I think the show just needs to move on without Mr. Coconuts and replace him with an actual human friend for Luann. He can even be replaced by Benny. I love them as a couple. But, like I said, this whole episode was a waste. I love Luann Center episodes and episodes that center around the whole family. But this just isn't it. Episodes like A Pimple Plan did it much better. While this episode was the waste, one good thing about it was how the whole family sacrificed their day for Luann. I know most of them don't care for Mr. Coconuts, especially Lola and probably Luna. But they still gave it their all to find him because they love Luann. Love conquers all. It was also sweet how Luann was willing to lose Mr. Coconuts to do the right thing. She was devastated, but she was strong enough to say goodbye to Mr. Coconuts for him and his dad. I really enjoy this sweet soft side of Luann. I love when the show shows that she is more than just a jokester and an April Fool's mad woman. She actually does have a kind heart and cares for others. It was also satisfying the way Rita drove the RV to catch up with the van. I love when Rita has these moments. She's definitely not the best mom, but when she's determined to do something for her family, no one can stop her. She turns into this mama bear, like she did in Trip when she flew the plane to catch Vanzilla. Rita's mama bear mode, the whole family giving up their day out of love for Luann, and Luann's selflessness to give up Mr. Coconuts were the highlights of the episode. But unfortunately, these moments were not enough to save the episode. It definitely isn't the worst episode, but it was just such a waste and very forgettable. They could have made another Luann and Lucy bonding episode, which we haven't seen since Head Poet's Anxiety 6 years ago. It also could have been a Luann and Benny, or another Luann and sibling bonding episode. Even a Luann and Rita, or a Luann and Lynn Sr. episode. But they decided to do this.
Yeah, there's personally a good reason why Mr. Coconut should have been put down instead of just actually being brought back into the family. Especially when there was so much connection with him and Luann, especially about how the way she got Mr. Coconuts in the first place to begin with. And his owner, as creepy as fuck as that guy is, I cannot believe the face actually like that totally exists. So it's not really much bad as so much bringing down the house and the final episode road trip of this story. But it always makes you say, why can't we get rid of this stupid dummy? I mean, if they were able to add a new character into the Freckle gang who doesn't have freckles, then there's no reason for them to actually kill off a few characters. Or at least make the characters progress and move on so they can grow as a better character. This episode felt like it was no laughing matter mixed with change of heart. Screen Queen. Now, this is a road trip I really enjoyed so much, especially when this episode is so fitting when you got the main focus with Lola Lau wanting to be a Hollywood star in LA, of playing the part of Daytona Jones, yeah, a female Indiana Jones to be precise. And as a moviegoer, a critic, and a voice actor I genuinely enjoy every last bit of this episode. Especially when Lola began to be a star, she was enjoying so much the glory and fame until then became it so much difficulty on the set, which somehow kind of feels a little bit over-exaggerating because I know a bunch of kid actors who actually have acted in some of their earlier movies when they were young before they became grown-ups. Yes, acting can be difficult, but sometimes it can be a little easier said than done, especially when this is coming from a guy who actually adds a lot of lib. But I precisely think the director should have chilled the hell out so much and quit pushing Lola to her limits, which caused Lola to actually get so much paperwork done and all the other bullshit that she had to go through. And she had to act like a total diva, which is Lola, of course, and end up getting fired so much. You know, a little bit of a pacing is a bit rushed so much, so they had to get so much moving on because they got to move on to the next road trip so they can get the Loud House family back in Royal Woods, and they couldn't leave Lola behind in California, LA, so, you know, families that plays together, they stay together. But it's never too late to actually make a movie star out of yourself on YouTube. And today I've got to give big credit for Greg Griffin for actually voice acting in my Loud House Critic episode review of Screen Queen, doing both Lola and Amy Jo Johnson. Because the real Amy Jo Johnson couldn't actually voice act for it, so I had Greg Griffin actually do Amy Jo Johnson impersonation with Daphne Blake from Scooby-Doo. Then again, thank you so much, Greg Griffin, especially when I got to see you twice. Thank you so much for acting in 3 of my Loud House episode reviews. And hopefully I can meet you again and maybe some of the Loud House cast members in the future. And last but not least, hide and sneak. Do I even need to say about what I really hate about this episode, especially when I already mentioned my cons and pros about it in my Season 7 worst hated episodes? In fact, I'll just let y'all hear it again. One of the very final road trip episodes that I really totally despise how the way they actually finish this off, especially when they actually put a liar reveal in this one, when it was all about the family trying to get their shit done and try to avoid the Casa Grandes, when really they could just drop in and just say hi. I know it was so much of an important job for Rita to actually finish so much of the article. It doesn't hurt for them to actually say hi to their friends. Yeah, that pretty much sums up about what I feel about this episode. And that, ladies and gentlemen, has come to the conclusion about what did I think about the other Loud House road trip episodes, other than Bizarratorium. Hopefully I got most of the questions answered, and I can see you guys in the next video, probably next month, for another Q&A. Till then, stay handsome and stay beautiful.